Thanks so much for coming in. Hit the like button and subscribe if this is the type of content that you think you may enjoy. I would greatly appreciate it. So I'm doing this video to really make myself start working on some of my projects. So I have so many things that I need to get done to this house that I'm in, and I've been putting it off. So I have many projects. So I'll be doing a lot of DIY projects, and I will be discussing those projects and sharing the journey of working on a home and doing your own home improvements and some design and decor projects. Okay. So today I'm going to start off with finally getting to painting this little accent wall that I've been delaying for quite some time now. I went and picked up the paint yesterday, and I thought I was going to get to do it yesterday, but did not make it. So today I decided to go ahead and get this job done. But before we start painting, I just want to go over a few things or supplies that you're going to need in order to help you have a professional looking finish. That's what we want. We don't want to just slap paint up on the wall and then not like it because we skipped some steps and some supplies that we may have needed to help us get that finished look. So here are some of the things that I use to help me get the look and the finish, the crisp lines that I'm looking for when I'm working on my own DIY projects. Okay, so here we go. First thing you're going to need is a sander. This is a sand block. Now, I like this block because it makes it easier for me to kind of use it on the wall. So by using this on the wall and sanding down and knocking down any imperfections on the wall, as well as like smears and scratches. So this helps smooth out wherever you're going to be painting. So you just simply use it like so. And that just helps to smooth the wall out. These are cheap. You can get them from anywhere, Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Walmart, anywhere. But these are always good to have. And it, like I said, it gives you a well finished look and a smooth finish on the walls before you start painting. So this is a good prepping tool that you'll definitely need. Now, if you don't have this, what you can use in place of it is I have a pack of just sanding papers. So you can just take these out. Now, these also can be placed on a block, but we don't have a block today. So I just take these and just fold them in half, like so. Fold it in half. Take this, do the same thing. Just go over areas where you see that there are like little knots or bumps, or even where there may have been a nail or something in the wall and the nail was taken out and then puttied over, and the putty may not be smooth. So if it's not, you just take that, do it like that on the wall, knock down the imperfections because you want a smooth looking finish on the wall. So that's number one. Now, after you do the sanding and smoothing out the wall, you want to take a damp cloth. So usually I just buy these in the packs. You can get these from Home Depot or Lowe's or pretty much anywhere, maybe even Dollar General, Family Dollar, or the Dollar Tree. So you can buy these in a bag. So these are like just cloths, torn, ripped up cloths that you can use. And this is 100% cotton. It has a little stretch in it though, but it is cotton. So you want to dampen this. You don't want it to be sopping wet. You don't want it to be really overly wet or saturated. You just want it to be lightly damp because this will help take the sanding dust off the wall. So once you do the sanding, you want to make sure you go over the wall and wipe down the walls. So this will help, again, with keeping you on track for doing and having a nice and smooth wall that's prepped and ready for the paint, okay? So after using that, then you're going to have some type of applications to paint with. Now, this is a roller. And with the roller, if you're ever using a roller, here's a pro tip. You want to always take the roller, the nap of the roller, use painter's tape, wrap it around like so, and then take it off. Now, what this does is it helps take off any excess loose fibers that will be on the roller brush or the roller. So this also helps you get a smooth professional finish when applying the paint to the wall if you're using a roller. Now, that is a definite pro tip. I learned this from other professional painters. They always knock off any lint or excess lint by taking tape and wrapping it around the roller so you can take off any loose lint that won't, it won't get into the paint, and you don't want that, and it won't leave any lint on the wall. within the paint. So you definitely want to remember to always do this tip. Okay, this is a really good pro tip, and I use this all the time. Now, if you are a pretty good painter and you feel comfortable with using like a 2-inch angled brush, these are perfect for doing straight lines and also going in and edging up before you start to paint the whole space. So with that being said, if you're really good at it, you can angle it. You always hold it low, like so, not up here, but closer to that, and keep it at an angle as you go down and paint like your edges and corners. So if you are good at that, then you can do that like so. And you won't get any paint on this wall if you're painting that. So you're just going in and you just angle it and then go down. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that with the brush, I have another tool that you can use. And with this tool, this is perfect. Even professional painters use this. I love it. It makes it a lot easier and it's a lot quicker to use this. So this goes in the paint. It comes with like replaceable. So that snaps on like that. Put it on, dip it in the paint. Has little rollers here. And with these rollers, it helps you to butt it up against the wall and then just go down. And I'll show you how that's done. So with this, you take it, make sure you're up against the wall. Now, the paint won't get on this wall. It'll stay here. So you take that and you just go down just like that, like so. Boom. And half your work is done, or the hardest part is done with doing that edging and corners. This is a wonderful tool to have. You should always have one of these, or at least a couple of these, if you are doing any painting. So if you are a novice, also, this is perfect. If you're more comfortable with your painting skills, you can use this and just boom, down the lines or the corners, okay? And then also a roller, I talked about paint. So you can use that for your bigger areas. But since this wall is not that big, I'm just going to probably use this to go over there. So I won't have much to fill in. And with the painter's tape, if you are a novice as well, like I just said, if you are a novice and you're not comfortable with trusting yourself to not paint and get paint everywhere, like on any of the trim, you don't want it on the trim, then of course you want to use painter's tape to tape off this piece or anywhere you don't want paint to go, so you can tape it off. I always like to use wider paint tape than anything narrow like this, because this really doesn't cover anything. And if you're using a roller or even a brush, paint can still get on whatever you're trying to cover. So always do the widest tape you can use. So this is pretty wide. And I like this painter's tape. This is frog painter's tape. And this also, to me, helps keep paint from seeping underneath it. So it seals pretty good when you are using it. So when you're using it and then you're painting on here, it keeps the paint from seeping underneath. So you get a clean, crisp edge when you pull it off. And another pro tip, when you're pulling off painter's tape, always pull it off at a 90 degree angle, okay? So you want to pull it off like that, not just straight up like that. You always want to go at an angle when you're pulling it up. And that also helps keep your lines crisp, and it doesn't rip the paint if the paint is not completely dry, okay? So that's a good pro tip. Take it off at an angle as opposed to just pulling it straight. Another good tip. Another tool you probably want to have is a paint opener. So this is for your can. You can use these little things. They're usually free from any place that you purchase paint. So you can get this and it helps you to open the can. Now, if you don't have this, you can use what's called a 5-in-1. I think some people call them, well, not call them, but they have more than just other uses. So that's why it may be called a 5-in-1, because it can do more than just open something. But that's another tool that you can use. And I have it, but I don't have one. I don't have one at hand, so I can't show it to you. So maybe later on I can show you what a 5-in-1 tool is. But you can use that as well to open up a paint can. But these are handy dandy. They're cheap or they're free, so you shouldn't have to pay for these. And then with the paint today that we're going to be using. Now, this is Valspar, and this, I went to Lowe's to get this, and they gave me the wrong paint. Now, I am a Sherwin-Williams girly. I love Sherwin-Williams. That's my paint. That's my go-to. For any of my clients, I also recommend Sherwin-Williams for them. Now, I do use Behr, when I need to. But usually what I'm going to recommend is Sherwin-Williams. But today, this is Valspar. I'm okay with that because I'm only painting like a small section of this wall. And the color of the day is Black Magic, which actually is a Sherwin-Williams color. And they gave it to me in a Valspar, which I really should take it back, but I don't have time for that because I want to get the paint up on the wall. So I'm going to go ahead and use this because, like I said, if it was a full gallon paint, then I will be taking it back and telling them that I want this in Sherwin-Williams, but I'm okay with it. So with this Black Magic, the finish on this is a flat finish. Now, normally I would never do a flat finish on any wall in like a living space, but because this is going to be on this wall right here, which won't be touched really, so it's not a traffic area wall or anything like that. And another reason why this is a design reason that I'm using the flat paint in its Black Magic is because I'm going to get this same color in a semi-gloss or a high gloss paint, and I'm going to do a design on top of the flat finish. So I'll have a contrast of a tone on tone color in the black. So you will see the design in the semi-gloss on top of the flat finish. And that's just a little design technique that I want to try. I've done it before, but since this wall is so small, I think I can do it and just bring a little bit more to the wall and just instead of having it just a solid black. So I'm just doing a little creative something, but that's the reason why. But normally for any living room space and dining room, it will be a satin finish in a high quality paint. I wouldn't do a flat, of course, not an eggshell. So it will be a satin. But because of this design idea or this technique that I'm going to use on this wall right here, I'm going with the flat, and then I'm going to do a design in the same color in a semi-gloss or high gloss. Okay, so this is the paint we'll be starting with today. And hopefully I can get it finished today. So, also for paint, you want to use, of course, a stair stick. You can get these free at any paint shop that you go to. They'll always have them. So I have a million of these because I do a lot of different painting projects. So don't forget, get this, stir the paint. Okay, I don't care if you just got it, still stir it up because sometimes the color can be settled at the bottom. So we want to make sure we stir it. And another pro tip is don't shake your paint can. Don't shake it. When you want to kind of mix the color, if you don't take it back to wherever you purchased the paint from for them to shake it up, you want to twist, and that also helps the paint to mix. So you want to do it this way, not shaking it. Pro tip, okay? Remember that. Now you can also use disposable trays. Now this is a disposable tray. It only cost me like $1. I think $1 and some change. So I use these often. Now I do have my regular trays that I use, but some of them have paint in them, and I didn't have time to try and clean it out, so I'm going with this. So I'm just going to use this. I'll sit this inside of my hard tray, pour the paint in, and get ready to paint. Okay, so let's do this, and let's see what happens. All right, we'll be back. Okay, so I've prepped the wall. I have sanded it, and I've wiped it down with a lightly damp cloth. So it'll easily cover up these colors that I decided not to go with. And the walls feel smooth. I knocked down some of the knots and little, paint drippings that was previously on the wall. So it's prepped and it's ready. So we're ready to go and paint. And it'll be all of this down the side. Same thing over here. So this will be like my little accent wall into the dining area. Did you see my little ladybug right there? Her name is Ladybug. But yeah, so let's do this. Let's get ready. So this is going to be the before. And we shall see the after soon. Okay, y'all. So I finally finished the wide opening of the wall, and I've painted the area that I wanted to paint in the black matte finish. The color is by Sherwin-Williams, and it's called Black Magic. And I think I really like the framing of it and how it frames out the space and kind of opens up and delineates the space from the living room going into the dining room. So I really like that. I think that was a good choice. It's not too much black, but I really like it. And the reason why I chose this black was because I wanted to do some delineation or some separation between these two spaces. So I'm really digging this. And the color, that I use with the Black Magic, I'm thinking of getting that same color in a high gloss and then doing some type of design technique on top of the matte finish and see how that looks. So I'd love for you to come back and check that out. I may just do a test run in an area before I move forward and do the whole thing, just to see how it comes out and to see if I really like it. Now, on the other walls that are fake, on this side, I'm looking at like a Marcy green or an olive green. And because I want something more deep and moody in this space. Now, this living space is small. They open up to each other, but it's a small home. But I think what I'm looking for in this space is to have something moody. And I'm digging the top color, that color on top. So we shall see. I may go and get that paint today and test it out in a bigger area to see if I really, really like it. So, and the reason why I'm looking at this moody green color is because of the chartreuse colored sectional piece that I picked up from the Habitat Restore. Now, this furniture is a beautiful vintage styled retro, maybe more like an MCM style furnishing piece, but it's a sectional. So I have these two pieces over here in the corner of the dining room because I want it to be set up to look more like a banquet lounge area for this room. And of course, we have more things to do in here with the wallpaper and painting. So we're looking at doing a fifth wall, which is the ceiling. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do wallpaper in the ceiling or if I'm going to paint it. And there's a problem where you run into the opening into the kitchen as far as the ceiling. So we'll try to figure that out. As a designer, we're always trying to work things out and figure out problems or come up with solutions for things that may pose an issue. So again, this is the dining area. Don't mind my work table because like I said, this is a small home and I'm working on projects little by little. So the light fixture and all that stuff will be changed out. And I'm just taking my time. I'm doing decorating on a budget. So I may make this into a series where you kind of come along with me on my journey as I, redo rooms, redo the kitchen and closets and just accessories and home decor pieces that you would buy for your space and how to decorate really on a budget and still get high-end looks for cheaper. Because even with this sofa, now this sofa is by Furniture Land South. It cost over $8,000 and I was able to get it for $450, practically brand new. Came from someone's home that was an executive at a professional a professional basketball team here in my area. So this piece is gorgeous. And again, with these two pieces, I want them to look more like a banquet or a lounge area in the dining space. And the other two pieces that go along with this is in the living room space. So the living room space also has two pieces, but they are armless and they fit perfectly in the space. And it's not overwhelming because again, my square footage is a little small. But back to the wall. Now, the wall again, I'm excited about it. So I'd love for you to hit the subscribe button. I would also love for you to hit the like button and come back and check me out for this journey that I'm on for decorating my small home on a budget. So I'm Regina. I'm an interior designer. I'm also a DIYer, and I'd love for you to come back, subscribe to my channel, and join me on this journey. All right. Hopefully I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.